Hello everyone, it is Umber Rays here today, and today we are going to be starting Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. That's right, I'm going to be playing through this game, potentially with you, and I'm going to be doing something that I don't normally do. We are going to be playing through this game completely free to play. That's right, we're going to take this journey as far as it can possibly go without spending a single dime, no re-rolls, no cheating, no nothing. We're going to just be doing, well, essentially what I just said. Now, as you know, Final Fantasy VII is one of my favorite games of all time. I do love Final Fantasy, and I do love a lot of things about Final Fantasy. There's also some things I don't like about Final Fantasy, but Ever Crisis is kind of just, I look at it, some people are over the gotcha thing. I look at it as a fun potential to replay through FF7 with maybe a little bit more goofiness, since you can switch out characters in some spots in the free-to-play thing. It kind of lends itself to being a little bit interesting. So we're going to be playing through it. And yeah, we're playing through it here on PC. I do have it installed on my phone, and I'll be playing through the Japanese version on my phone, but here we're going to be playing through the English version for once. And if I ever notice any differences, I'll let you know, but could happen. All right, so we're going to be playing, I guess, through on Ultra. Are we over that? Seems personal, but okay. I can try and collect my personal information. There's not much on here. And I take a sip because I'm not sure how long this video is going to be. We kind of starting it, have to download the actual data, so we'll see how long that takes, or if we're freezing right away here. Oh, it hit 100% instantly, and then we went back down to 0. That's sad. I will say this, I love the artwork here. For people who are wondering, this is kind of a action turn-based, but not, I guess it's ATB sort of. It's a little hard to, I guess, explain in what I'm trying to say. I swear I've played this before.
星の命ライフストリームはあらゆる記憶知識感情を乗せ巡り巡る
I wonder whose voice that is. Interesting note, both the JP version and the English version apparently both have Japanese voice acting. I am looking forward to just having this experience as a free-to-play for this game, because, and by the way, on my phone too, exact same thing, definitely free-to-play only. It's kind of cool we get to run this game at Ultra, because I'm pretty sure it's not running on Ultra. I think it's running on Medium on my phone. Still looks pretty good, but I'm curious to see what Ultra runs like on, especially an emulator. Alright, so here's a general preview of how the game works. This fight is fairly scripted. There isn't too terribly much. We're just trying to get through to the point where we activate certain triggers. Hit Sephiroth a bit, you know, how you do it. See if we can get a nice little fire attack in here. So basically you have the ATB gauge here that runs up. Certain abilities take so much ATB, and there's also limit bursts. You can semi, or if you're not particularly, you're wanting to have this game a little bit easier, you can just let semi or go full auto and just watch. I gotta say, autoplay is pretty good. I think that manual or semi, you can do actually perform a little bit better than just letting the PC do it, but there's a few more mechanics that we'll get into. But hey, look at that. We're someone different now. As you can see, we can heal up. Eventually, we will have party members, but for right now, we don't. Oh yeah, and the game definitely wants us to be doing things. So not too terribly much danger here. Basically, at this point, kind of just trying to get through. I'm pretty sure that this is not a winnable fight. Would be interesting if someone hacked it and see, like, tried to win it. What would happen? Snake, you've altered the timeline. Alright, so here we got Limit Burst. Take enough damage, do enough damage, basically builds up over the course of battle. Yay! Do some, bring the pain. It's also nice to just be able to record this properly. Before, I was in the closed beta for this game, and I did provide feedback to the devs about what I think needed to be changed and everything like that. So, you know, but the point being that the recording in that part was really difficult because I was essentially just doing it on my phone for simplicity's sake. Maybe not the wisest decision as it turned out, but was a little bit scared that it just wouldn't run on emulator. Now, since I'm doing this video and I'm supposed to be introducing things, I'll talk a little bit about what you can expect in this. And this is supposed to be a compilation of Final Fantasy VII based on the original Final Fantasy VII story, not the remake. So that is probably a positive in some people. It does take certain things such as you can see, video from the remake to kind of bolster and upgrade. I'm curious later on when they run out of video from remake if they'll be using video from just the original game or whatnot. But this game essentially covers Final Fantasy VII, First Soldier, Before Crisis, Ever Crisis, or not Ever Crisis, Crisis Core, all of those stories that were in the FF7 canon and lore will essentially be recovered in this game, and you can play through them again, collect the characters are essentially just given to you, so you can build the team however you want a lot of the time, or some of the time for content. And mostly this game focuses around weapons and costumes for gacha, and both do have performance enhancing abilities. I don't know, this makes me want to play through Remake again. I should say also, I believe as of launch, the 3 titles that are covered so far, not completely, more and more story will be added over time, is Final Fantasy VII, roughly up to getting Red 13, not completing the Shinra Tower. Also, there is Crisis Core, and first little bit of Crisis Core, and the first little bit of First Soldiers. And I do believe that story is supposed to be just regularly added. But of course, what the schedule will look like, we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, runs about this good on the phone too. Who knows? Maybe you're even playing it at the same time. Also, I really love this artwork. This artwork is really good. I love it. It's very stylized, but it really captures the characters quite nicely. I actually really, really like it. I'm sure Square Enix will put it on tons of merch. All right, so this is one of the things I just want to get into. Talking about right away is that I love that there are actual exploring ones. It's not just style of do a bunch of fights in a specific mission. You actually do get some explorable areas, especially with the original game, FF7. That's a big thing to me. So we can also set on auto here. If we go in, check out some details about it, party info, sound, if you want that, and some battle stuff. We also have what's interesting here is a skip tutorial button, which some people might not even know is there, but it's a nice thing, if especially if you are re-rolling, to have an opportunity to essentially just skip something that you've done a ton. This is something a lot of gachas don't have, and they really should just embrace it, because it's not a, like, I know that they want people to be spending as early as possible, but honestly, like, you kind of need to get people's foot in the door and just give them a good start. I don't know, that's just my thought. I don't know, very evocative to me of obviously the original FF7. Obviously, not every area is completely playable, but you know, it kind of works a little bit better on the mobile service as being a little bit more bite-sized, a little more segmented. Now, of course, there is grinding, there is gacha to be had, and we'll get into that a little bit later. Let's continue moving on for a little bit of the environments. Character models look good too. Again, very evocative to me of the original FF7. Those kind of styles. Shouldn't you waited until they can buy or something? Oh, whatever. Allies will join your fight automatically. However, you will need to manually execute their limit breaks. You can switch characters, but early on you won't be able to. And at least for the first little bit, we're not going to get any not too many options yet. We'll get there. Also, there are not randomized battles in these maps. It's pretty, or at least almost certain. And now I'm starting to doubt myself. But I do believe that they are in specific spots. Off we go then. You have some treasure chests, which I think is fun. Let's just double check right now. If there were theoretically battles, if I was just running around in circles like this, we'd eventually get it. Seems like that is a no. Nice, no damage. Usually at least take some. Walk on over here. You can also tap to move to certain areas. I like the, you know, obviously moving my own characters around, so. So. All right, and we go. Also, I should say I've taken a compulsory, like, slight look at the gacha prices for people who are wondering about whether this game is incredibly expensive. Costumes are not in the gacha. They are obtained through the gacha by doing a certain number of multi-polls on a certain banner. At least in the beta, there was no, like, needing a duplicate of a costume ever. So once you get a costume, you're done. So if you like were saving up for something in specific, like maybe the heiress with the white dress from the trailers or whatnot, it is very possible as a free-to-player. How much that's going to bite you or stop you from competing in certain content that is outside of the story mode really is yet to be seen. As beta was fairly limited. Taking some damage now. Also, you can see that we are getting EXP from doing this. EXP is obtainable through other places in the game. And yeah, leveling up will be a thing. And from what I remember, at least in my time in the beta, a lot of it was blue crystal. A lot of it was pretty grindy, and I'm hoping I haven't had obviously a ton of time today because of work and whatnot, but I am hoping that they have toned down the grind a little bit. The grind was kind of excessive during the beta, especially to be able to get up to espers, icons, whatever you want to call it, summons, and materia. I found to be quite a drag to get up there, but you know, it was the beta. Hopefully that they have taken some people's advice on how to make the game better. Nice little green hue myself from my monitor. So we'll be going through this first little section, then we'll hit the major download, and that's probably where we'll call it a video for today. Just doing the opening intro bit, talking about the game, and kind of saying my plans for it. I do want to do just a bunch of videos about this, but way more casual than something like Wotive and FFPE has been in the past. I'm definitely really just absolutely want to stay away from spending money on this because overall, just, you know, getting way too fatigued on gachas. This one, the idea that you need multiple copies of weapons isn't incredibly enticing, at least not from the get-go. So now it's everyone's favorite opening boss from any video game ever, the Guard Scorpion. Not particularly really that difficult of a fight at all. Now here should be the introduction of a new mechanic. You can see this little thing up here. Charging means that he is getting ready to use laser. Hurts a bit. We're okay. Throw a heal over here. Because so here's his super attack. He's getting ready for it. So this is where you change stance, and this is something I actually quite like because shifting at specific timing is beneficial. As you can see, it does reduce the amount of damage you take by switching over to defensive mode, and then switching to offensive mode, you deal more damage, which is a neat little fun way. Next up is this. So stream phases, protection wall, beat down on this enemy with the certain attack types, like you can see here, Fast Blade is the same style, so that's what we want to do to break this barrier. If we break it, we essentially get some time to just wail on the enemy. So See, took some of it down right there. We got our limit burst ready, so that's good news. Now destroy the sigils. You've interrupted the enemy attack, causing them to become incapacitated. A2P Gale fills faster. Use this to attack and help recover your party. And now we can also do this. Comboing up Limit Burst does increase the amount of damage you can do. As you can see, we're getting a little bit of bonus damage there. So there's that timer charging up again. You want to wait till close to the end, then switch over. That will ensure that we take as little damage as possible. And this is just showing us exactly what I already did. It doesn't let us change, unfortunately, it doesn't let us change over to its attack mode, so we are, as you can see, just dealing less damage, which is unfortunate. Good programming there, guys. Toss a heal to Barret. Almost done. And there you go. Quite possibly my 10,000th time killing a guard scorpion in various different things. And that pretty much wraps up just mission. From what I've seen, Crisis Core seems to have a little bit less in terms of explorable spaces. Final Fantasy VII seems to have the most so far, and both of those seem to have dungeons, which are we'll show off in a later video. Which are essentially, you can explore through these areas, but they have multiple bosses, they have enemies you can fight, things you can pick up, all kinds of different stuff like that. You can see that this section, unfortunately, we don't get to do the regular escape bit, but again, it's a mobile game. You do want this to be a little more, you know, play a little bit here, play a little bit there. Oh, poor Jesse fell down. Yeah, kind of fun little scripted moment. That explosion seems bigger than before. Part 2, Meeting the Flower Girl. So story selection. In story selection, you can choose from various tales in FF7 compilation. First Soldier is kind of looking to be just the young Sephiroth story. Now that is from a game that essentially died recently. We'll see how well this one does. Crisis Core, which is, if you played Reunion, you know the story. If you played the original FF7, you probably have an idea what you're for. So here we have the full download. It is 5.1 gigabytes, so for people who are just going to be playing this game, definitely recommend just doing the full download while you're on Wi-Fi, getting done. So we'll come back in a little bit in the second video when the download's finished. See you next video.